You're lying in bed right now, scrolling through your phone, dreaming about the life you want. The money, the success, the freedom. You can see it all so clearly in your mind, can't you? But here's the brutal truth that nobody wants to hear. Dreaming doesn't pay the bills. Fantasizing doesn't build empires. And hoping doesn't create millionaires. What I'm about to share with you is a story that's going to shake you awake. Because somewhere in this tale, you're going to see yourself. And trust me, you won't like what you see. But that's exactly why you need to hear it. There was this small town, the kind of place where everyone knew everyone. Early mornings were alive with the sound of merchants setting up their stalls, farmers heading out to their fields, and shop owners unlocking their doors for another day of hustle. Life moved forward. People grinded. People made things happen. But sitting under a large oak tree, completely detached from all this energy, was a young guy named Theo, and Theo, he was different. Not in a good way. Now Theo wasn't disabled. He wasn't sick. This kid was built like an athlete, tall, strong, perfectly healthy. He had every physical advantage you could ask for. But something was missing inside him. That fire, that drive, that burning desire to go out and conquer the world, completely absent. Theo was lazy. I'm not talking about taking a day off kind of lazy. I'm talking about refusing to work, refusing to contribute, refusing to do anything productive with his life kind of lazy. And here's the kicker. Despite doing absolutely nothing, Theo dreamed big. He fantasized about being wealthy, living in luxury, having everything handed to him on a silver platter. He wanted the millionaire lifestyle without putting in a single minute of millionaire work. The villagers felt sorry for him. They'd bring him food, share their meals, give him handouts. Theo survived off their generosity, never once thinking about giving back or changing his situation. He was comfortable being broke as long as someone else was feeding him. Sound familiar? Because in today's world, we've got millions of Theos. People waiting for their big break, waiting for luck to strike, waiting for someone to rescue them from their mediocrity. But here's what they don't realize. The cavalry isn't coming. Nobody's going to save you. You've got to save yourself. One morning, something interesting happened. A wealthy merchant in town decided to give back to the community. Times had been good for his business, and he wanted to share the blessing. So he stood in the town square with fresh pots of milk, handing them out to anyone in need. Word spread fast. Free stuff always does, right? And guess who was first in line? You got it. Theo. The moment he heard about free milk, he jumped up faster than he'd moved in months. He grabbed his pot, filled it to the brim with fresh creamy milk, and rushed home like he'd just won the lottery. Back at his small house, Theo got to work. Well, sort of. His father had already left for the fields that morning, doing real work, earning real money. But he'd left the kitchen ready, firewood stacked, everything Theo needed. So Theo boiled the milk, poured himself a glass, grabbed the 2 pieces of bread his father had left on the table, and sat down for breakfast. Not bad for a guy who hadn't lifted a finger to earn any of it, right? After finishing his meal, Theo placed the leftover milk in a pot next to his bed. And this is where things get interesting. Instead of going out to help his father, instead of looking for work, instead of doing literally anything productive, Theo laid down, and he started dreaming. He stared at that pot of milk, and his imagination went into overdrive. By tomorrow morning, this milk is going to turn into cheese, he thought. I'll take that cheese to the market and sell it. With the money I make, I'll buy a chicken. That chicken will lay eggs. Those eggs will hatch into more chickens. I'll raise those chickens, and before you know it, I'll have dozens, maybe hundreds of chickens. I'll own an entire poultry farm. Then I'll sell all those chickens and use that money to buy cows. I'll start a dairy farm. Everyone in town will buy milk from me. I'll be the milk king. The money will pour in. I'll get so rich, I'll start buying gold, jewelry, precious stones. Even the king himself will come to me for jewelry. I'll be wealthier than anyone in this town has ever been. And then, Theo's fantasy took another turn. With all that money, I'll marry the most beautiful woman from the richest family. We'll have a son together, a handsome, strong boy. But if he turns out lazy like these other kids, oh man, I'll set him straight. I'll teach him a lesson he'll never forget. I'll grab a stick and whack some sense into him. How dare he be lazy when his father built an empire starting from nothing but a single pot of milk? Theo got so caught up in his daydream, so lost in this imaginary future, that he actually grabbed the stick from beside his bed. He swung it through the air, pretending to discipline this imaginary lazy son of his. And in that moment of complete delusion, the stick smashed directly into the pot of milk. The pot tipped over. Milk spilled everywhere, soaking into his bedding, pouring onto the floor. Wasted, gone. Just like that, his empire vanished. His poultry farm, his dairy business, his jewelry empire, his beautiful wife, his son. All of it disappeared in an instant because it never existed in the first place. Theo stood there in shock, staring at the puddle of milk on his floor. Reality hit him like a freight train. There was no cheese, no chickens, no cows, no fortune. Just spilled milk and broken dreams. He cleaned up the mess, and you know what he did next? He went right back to daydreaming. Nothing changed. The next morning, he woke up, took a walk through the village, and started looking for the next handout. Maybe someone else was giving away free food. Maybe someone else would take pity on him. His life stayed exactly the same. Poor, miserable, stuck. Now before you judge Theo too harshly, let me ask you something. How many pots of milk have you spilled in your own life? How many times have you laid in bed, dreaming about the business you're going to start, the weight you're going to lose, the book you're going to write, the person you're going to become, but then did absolutely nothing about it? How many imaginary empires have you built in your head while your real life stayed exactly the same? See, we love to fantasize. Our brains are wired for it. It feels good to imagine success. It's easy. It's comfortable. It requires zero effort. But here's the problem. Fantasies don't pay your rent. Dreams don't build your bank account. Wishes don't create the life you want. The lesson here isn't complicated. If you want something, you've got to work for it. Period. End of story. You want to be successful? Put in the work. You want to be wealthy? Develop the skills, make the sacrifices, take the risks. You want to be healthy? Get off the couch and move your body. You want meaningful relationships? Invest the time and energy. You want God's blessings? Show up in prayer, show up in faith, show up in action. There's no shortcut. There's no magic formula. There's no lottery ticket that's going to save you. The only thing standing between you and the life you want is the work you're not willing to do. Here's what separates dreamers from achievers. Achievers align their actions with their aspirations. If they say they want something, they prove it with their daily habits. They don't just talk about it. They don't just think about it. They do something about it every single day. Even when it's hard. Even when it's uncomfortable. Even when nobody's watching. That's the difference. That's the secret. Consistency. Discipline. Persistence. Those are the keys that unlock every door. So let me ask you right now, what pot of milk are you holding on to? What imaginary future are you clinging to while your real life falls apart? What excuses are you making? Maybe you're waiting for the right time. Newsflash, there's never a perfect time. Maybe you're waiting to feel motivated. Motivation is a lie. Discipline is what gets results. Maybe you're waiting for someone to believe in you. Stop waiting for permission. Believe in yourself and get moving. The world doesn't owe you anything. Success doesn't care about your feelings. Results only respond to action. Starting today, make a decision. Decide that your actions will match your ambitions. Decide that if you want something, you're willing to earn it. Decide that you're done being Theo, sitting under the tree, waiting for handouts, hoping for miracles. Decide that you're going to be the person who works, who grinds, who shows up every single day and builds something real. Not imaginary, real. Because at the end of your life, nobody's going to ask you about the dreams you had. They're going to look at what you built, what you created, what you accomplished. And if all you've got is spilled milk and broken fantasies, that's on you. The opportunity is right in front of you, right now, this moment. You can keep scrolling, keep daydreaming, keep wasting time. Or you can close this video, get up, and do one thing today that moves you closer to the life you actually want. Just one thing, because that one thing leads to another, and another. And before you know it, you've built something real. Something that can't be knocked over. Something that doesn't disappear when reality hits. You've got everything you need. The question is, are you willing to use it? The choice is yours. Make it count.